Good morning, everyone. And first of all, thank you to the CIO fraternity for inviting me to give you a keynote address in a most exciting space of time when CIOs are probably looking at capex, not doing any capex. CEOs are looking at how to conserve cash. Everybody's worried about COVID and pre-COVID and post-COVID and co-COVID. So I guess it's an exciting time, and I'm glad to be here. So thank you very much for that. And I think I've been asked to speak to you more about manufacturing because this is a relevant subject today. Manufacturing in Kenya, in Africa, and digitalization. I think it wouldn't have been any later than this, because right now is a time to get on board with a lot of substance on digitalization. I think manufacturing has a huge opportunity to go forward and look at how to digitalize ourselves. The COVID era, the pre-COVID era, when Industry 4.0 was the subject, the topic of the day, there was a lot of talk about, do we do Industry 4.0 or do we continue the same way? And I think a lot of boardrooms were discussing digital transformation, digitalization, how far do we go, where do we go? And based on that, I think the issue is around the benefits. So a lot of people talk about cost versus benefit. And we've seen in a COVID era where we've actually, in my opinion, we've fast forwarded the entire digitalization of Kenya or even Africa by 5 or 6 years. What we thought people will take time in adopting and accepting has taken 3 months for people to start adopting and sort of utilizing. So that's happened quite fast, number one. Number two, if we look at the supply chain, if we look at the entire, from farm to fork that we talk about as Bidco, I think the whole issue in terms of manufacturing, there's so many applications. So a lot of people want contactless buying, contactless selling. They don't want to touch base. In fact, the big supermarkets, the big stores are all complaining we're not getting footfall. They're not people are not coming in. People are now buying stuff online. So that's again digitalization. Banks are complaining of losing cash business because there's nobody coming in, bringing in cash into the organization. And mobile money has gone 60% up and cash has come down 60%. So people have transformed themselves. And this is an era, in my opinion, that is a serious opportunity for all of us in this CIO fraternity, CEO fraternity, to say, let's all digitalize, do a digital transformation, and really take that leap forward. I know a lot of budgets are cut, a lot of people not spending money on CapEx, and I too, I'm looking at being frugal. The consumer has gone frugal. The consumer is now not spending enough in terms of, hey, you know what, I can make do with my shirt, I can make do with my coat, my suit, it lasts me another 1 or 2 years. And they're only buying food and essential services. But here is where digital and digital transformation and really a lot of the stuff we talk about here in terms of whether it's AI, whether it's machine learning, whether it's cloud computing, is all coming to the fore to say, we need to do this like yesterday. And those who are ready, I think they've reaped the benefits, they've seen the harvest from there. And those who are not are looking and saying, what do we do now? However, 50 to 60% of people are still in shock and saying, hey, you know what? Right now, let's not do anything. Let's see what happens. And that's probably, in my opinion, the wrong place to be in. So as I would advise anybody else is, this is the right time. Look at what is required. Look at what needs to be done and start implementing it straight away. So the digital transformation should take a big leap forward and say, fine, guys. In fact, the CIOs should be advising all the CEOs to say, fine. Although you can't replace them, but right now, look at the opportunity. In manufacturing, you talk about IoT, you can talk about energy savings. We talk about competitiveness. This is a subject that we talk about it everywhere in manufacturing. Conserving energy, conserving power, looking at more productivity. We need to improve our productivity. And there are cases and examples of where IoT devices and IoT systems will help us. And we've done that even in our company, where actually you can monitor on a real-time online basis your steam consumption, your power consumption, and where is it going to waste? And you can control it with seeing where's productivity. How much is the production and what's the steam or power consumption or utility consumption? And you can monitor that online. How does that help? It actually removes a lot of wastage. In Kaizen language or lean language, we call it muda. Muda means anything that's not adding value. And manufacturing is all about adding value, local value added to our products. And really, digitalization would help in a massive way. This is where all our digital guys need to get out of their own cocoons of doing things in the past. And why I say this in the past, because we used to have these big, sexy projects that we say 6 months or 1 year or 2 years implementation of projects. Time's gone there. Right now, if China can build a hospital in 10 days and really have people out there, these implementations need to go fast. So to the entire CIO fraternity, your implementations need to be much more faster. To the CEO of community, we need to digitalize ourselves. So benefits, the benefits going digital. Two of them is RPA, robotic process automation. We see that every day nowadays. A lot of our accounting, which used to be done by manual people sorting things out and doing debit credit, it's changed. It's gone to automation now. So we have all that being done. You scan an invoice and bang on, the entire thing is, the three-way matching is done, the invoice processing is done, and the amount is sitting in the payments system just for somebody to release it to the bank. So you've got automation in RPA there. Then you've got AI, and you've got response systems. Huge numbers of call centers that people used to put up in the supply chains and say, let me have a call center whereby I have a lot of people answering frequently asked questions. You can do that with a robot, with a chatbot online. You can do that on your Facebook Messenger. You can do it on your WhatsApp Messenger, and it's all happening already. We've done that in our company, and you can see your entire HR services going online. So the entire waste of activity where you had a huge manpower cost of looking at people's leaves, salaries, this and that. Supply chain, look at sales. In sales, information asymmetry is now being removed. Whereas we used to go to a customer on a sales call and say, how much have we delivered to you? What's the payment amount? It's all being done on a bot. And you can do it on a system whereby everybody's getting real-time information, feedback coming to them all the time. So that's one more possibility. So information asymmetry means all decisions are now based on facts, on actual issues. So somebody said, I put a check in the bank and it's gone to the bank, check with your bank. And people used to say, it may be there, we don't know. Now it's sure, real time online, what's the amount due, any check in the bank, what's pending, you even know what's being invoiced, the entire amount. So a lot of real time online systems are feasible, are practical, and you can do it right now. And I think the whole issue around cloud and saying a lot of investments were being made in terms of big servers, big server farms, and on-premise. I think on-premise is now, in my opinion, taboo. It's now to say, let's go on the cloud. And therefore, your systems are working from anywhere. The latest thing that's come with COVID, and it's about working from home. And if we don't digitalize, banks found this out earlier because if they had to send their staff home and they had to work from home, they wouldn't allow, the security systems wouldn't allow them to work from home because of login and all that stuff, securities. They have to change. They've already changed, and they've actually made sure people are working from home. So I think digitalization goes without saying. This conference right now, we're talking to you right now, and it's online. Otherwise, this would have been back in Nevada as last year, and you would have a lot of people talking there, sitting around and feeling, face-to-face. It's different. Right now, we're still face-to-face. We still got the same effects, but it's online. And I think this is where I don't think we can underrate the power of digitalization and where it's going, and obviously the benefits of it. I could sing songs about machine learning, whereby you start looking at data coming in. You got a lot of data warehousing, and then of course data mining, and then of course getting intelligence. So a lot of data will be available, but what do you do with the data? You convert that to information, and that becomes analyzed. You know exactly what's happening, and then that information gets converted into intelligence. At a CEO level, at a top level, you want to get your dashboard. It's like your car. If you're driving your car, on your dashboard, you want the basic things. You want to see your miles, you want to see your kilometer, you want to see the speed, and you know when to change gears. And this is where the whole opportunity has just opened up to say, let's go become international. Now, we're sitting in Kenya, and we think we can't be world-class. And I think this is a misnomer. Right now, sitting here in Kenya, you can be as good as anybody else in Silicon Valley or in the US or Europe or Asia or in China, and you can do it. And we have the systems and the mechanisms, and bringing it online and downloading stuff, what's not possible. So I just want to say this challenge to everybody here is to say manufacturing can take a huge leap of faith. If you see our Big Four agenda in Kenya, and it's talking about agriculture, agribusiness, manufacturing, affordable households, and affordable healthcare. In fact, healthcare has taken a huge turn to go digital, and you have contactless selling, telemedicine is coming in. The same way we can do our agribusiness, we can do our farming, we can do our systems whereby the farmer gets information with IoT devices to know when's the rain, what's the levels, what's the pH of the soil, and when do I plant. The same way manufacturing can know when I will get harvest, when we will get the products in the factory, and what will happen. So a lot of asymmetry of data, information asymmetry has now been removed, and this is an opportunity. So I just want to invite everyone to say, this is the greatest opportunity, in my opinion. If any capex can be removed from elsewhere and put into your systems, make your systems real-time, online, and live. And I think this is where the whole era of real-time online computing is in. And I think this is where every single person, whether in IT, whether in business, doing whatever, needs to say, we're going to do it. And I think that's where the huge opportunity lies. And I will rest my case there. But I think this is what the topic of this conference should be, to say, how do we expedite this? How do we do it better? And there's a lot of capital waiting for this sort of system. So the capital shortage also that people talk about, there's a cash crunch. There's a lot of capital saying, if you can do something digital, we'll really back it up. The other side is that you don't even have to spend a lot of capex, because software as a service, you can actually start paying for it as you use. So that's a new revolution that's come up, and I think that's going to kick in pretty fast. And you can see every youngster that we talk to, every youth is now talking about a new startup on digital. So a lot of services, a lot of goods will come online. There'll be an app-based industry coming through, but nobody can stay and rest behind it. So I think this is where the challenge to every one of you is be able to discuss it openly and say, where do we go? Kenya is not a third world country. It may be in terms of the GDP and all that stuff, but as far as IT and internet is concerned, as far as CIO is concerned, you can be world class. So go forth and multiply, as Jesus said. And I think this is where digitalization is the in thing to do. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a fruitful conference. Thank you.